Chocolate sprinkles! Chocolate sprinkles! We made it! The PulseChain's out, baby dolls. After 2 long years, finally we can tell everyone, look, you didn't really get scammed because here's your product. All right, now, you want to go to app.pulsex.com and you'll be able to come here and you can see the ratio. What I like is there were a few heart attacks. This quote's wrong. So this is a normal inline ratio. So what we're looking at right now, let's explain it for the baby dolls. This is 1 pulse to 1 PulseX. I don't like quoting it like this. Do you want to know why? You can go to the ETH BTC chart. Do you see how ETH BTC is quoted? It's quoted at 0.067. We don't quote it as like this. Nobody says this. Nobody says, hey, how much is Ethereum worth? They go, okay, 1 Bitcoin buys 14.9 Ethereum. Nobody says that. No one says the number 14.9, the inverse of that. We do the other way around. We say ETH BTC is 0.067. So when I quote it from now on, it's going to be industry standard. It's going to be the PulseX to Pulse ratio. All right. It started at 1.06 set by RH. It dropped to 0.5 or 0.48 when I saw it. It had huge slippage to sell like a billion PulseX. I think it was 40% slippage from this point. Okay. So now it's around, and let's go check together. So you want to know, hey, how do we find what the PulseX to Pulse ratio is right now? We can see it. We're just going to go back to here. So we can see you do the inverse. You put PulseX as 1 up the top just to see it. It's 0.29. So that's what the number is right now. So I'm going to go back here. Now it's around 0.29. So I'm going to just draw this for you because the chart's actually not working because it's exploded. There's supposed to be a cute little chart. Mine doesn't work, maybe because it hasn't even been 24 hours yet. So what I'm going to do right now is just show you what we're actually looking at. So this is a nice number. We can live with this. This is exactly what the testnet was, which is funny. A lot of you, non-believer, non-baby dolls, non-friends, which is about 0.001%, said, ignore the testnet numbers. They mean nothing. Well, look at this. The testnet numbers for version 2 worked. How about that? The market kind of agreed. Like, because it was monopoly money, but we stretched it out for a number of time and there wasn't infinite minting for testnet version 2, it seems like the market agreed, yeah, this is about kind of where we'd play with it. Isn't that beautiful to see? So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to draw for you the chart. Now, I've been waiting for this moment. We can do this. And before I actually do, I'm going to need the logos so we can see what's actually going on. We're going to see this. Here's going to be the logos. And I'm going to get individual little PulseX. And we're going to get an individual little pulse. So we're actually going to construct the chart so we can see what the hell's going on. So this is super important. So just like how right now we're looking at ETH BTC. You can see in the top left. You can see in the top left here, little ETH BTC, the Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Ethereum divided by Bitcoin. Okay, so when you look at this, it goes, hey, see this 0.067? It means Ethereum is 6.7% of Bitcoin's price. So now we're going to draw the PulseX to Pulse ratio right here. So it started, let's draw a rectangle because we're all rectangle baby dolls sometimes. All right. So this is going to be the ratio. And where did it start? It started at 1.06. Exactly. Let's just do 1. Let's just make it easy. 1. This is where it started at, right up here. Okay. It started at 1. And because they're an integer, we're going to do 1.0 around here. And then immediately it tanked. It's just a big fat, the first bots are smacked it down to 0.5, which would be here. 0.5. So yes, what this means is it means PulseX is 50% of the price of Pulse. That's what it means. Just like we're doing it with the Ethereum BTC. Now, where is it? Remember, if I go back and you type in 1, you do the inverse, 0.34. That's where the number is right now. This is actually quite juicy and quite fair. I'm actually liking it. Getting a bit of a libido pump from here because I was worried it'd be worse than that. So 0.36. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you where, say, 0.25 would be. We're just going to write that down just so you can see. So let's move these up a bit nicer. And we're going to show you 0.10. This was about this. You got to know these numbers, okay? Because the 0.10 and 0.05, that is closer to where the market values Uniswap versus Ethereum and PancakeSwap to Binance Chain. All right. So you might say, hey, this time is different for us. Yes, I hope it continues to be different. So I just want you to know this is the ratio. So the chart, this is what the chart looks like right now. And we're about here. And we bounce back up here. So we were actually trading towards 0.25. I saw even a bit lower. So yeah, unfortunately, look what happened. So people sold. People came in. They literally sold down here. They went like this. And now we're back up here. So unfortunately, already, there are people who have destroyed themselves. I'm going to have to get an arrow to show. The people sold down here, you're wrecked. You're wrecked. You know why you're wrecked? Because what you did was, okay, look at this number. Look how dangerous it is to ratio trade and not know what you're doing, all right? If you do 0.36 divided by where they sold, which was about 0.22, they have lost 63% of their coin value already in the ratio. Already. Like, it hasn't been a day, bro. Brothers and sisters, baby dolls, baby ducks, and baby goats and baby llamas. You've lost 63%. So congratulations for not listening to me. Everyone's a baby doll, baby cake here. Like, subscribe, bell button, or this is what they've done. Yes, look at this number, 63%. So I have to write this down already. I'm going to write this down right now. So you better pray that you've taken a minus 63% loss already. All right, that's what they've done. That's what happens. So if those people who are selling the bottom of this ratio, they've done that. So how do I expect this to play out? Well, PulseX to Pulse ratio. This is the PulseX to Pulse ratio. So let's just write this down. So what are you actually looking at? This is PLSX over PLS. All right. This is PLSX over PLS. This is the ratio. How do I expect this to play out? I don't know what's going to happen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. We didn't care about that. But we're hoping as the cycle moves on, all right, we're hoping that, yeah, maybe there's up and down, up and around, but we're hoping as Ethereum and Bitcoin price higher, as Uniswap volume goes up, as PulseX's volume goes up, most importantly, that the buy and burn plus people wanting to take on more risk start buying PulseX more and the ratio comes up. I don't know how high this can go because, look, to be honest, can PulseX be worth one pulse and how long would it take to get there? I don't know. We might call that the flipping, but that's a giant valuation. It depends how you want to see it. You know what's interesting? Binance Chain and the Binance exchange themselves, we don't know what's really valued more. That's something to think about. They are one in the same. It's very hard to see because like the Binance Chain, you might say, well, some people will say Binance Chain is worth nothing because it doesn't make any money. But the Binance exchange themselves, they make money off everyone buying and trading, right? Buying and selling. So it is morphed in one chain. So it peaked at a total 100 billion market cap in 2021. So we don't know how this is going to transpire here. I strongly urge you don't do anything. Just chill out. Very exciting. Now let's have a look at the other ratios as well. You want to see. So it's going to keep moving around. See, it's now 0.29, right? If you want to find out what that number is, because some of you, I know we're dealing with decimals. It's annoying to write 0.3, but you're just going to have to get used to it because no one's going to quote this. They go 3.5 because here's the thing. As this number gets bigger, you are losing value, just like in ETH BTC. So if one Bitcoin buys 15 Ethereum and then one Bitcoin buys 30 Ethereum, that means Ethereum got weaker. But it's confusing to everyone because you're talking about a number getting higher, just like this. So one PLSX, it was buying like 1 PLS was buying 4.6 just earlier, minutes ago. That was a weaker PulseX. I don't like quoting it like that. So please do yourself and do me a favor. You quote like this. This is the chart. I just created the chart for you. So there's no excuses. We can see what I made here on the chart. Let's just go have a look. This is the chart. So you see it's charted like this. Nice. Nice and neat. So they've taken a 63% loss already. Like I'm home, just please don't do this. What they've done is they've just paper hand sold PulseX because they want their pulse, so they're moving around. And now what we can actually do is we can have a look at the other ratios. We can just see how much is a hex. How much is a hex to pulse? 1 to 52, which is, that's freaking enormous, by the way. So there's been something going on here because also the hex USDC on eHEX. This is eHEX, but just to let you know, so eHEX is what the coin is going to be called on PulseChain because it's moved in. But we just say eHEX because it's easier for us to say it instead of like, the word salad. of writing HEX on Ethereum every single time. So this is HEX on Ethereum. It dropped like a rock, but the HEX on PulseChain is better. So it dropped 67%. But now we don't know what the US dollar value of everything or all their prices are. Okay, because now we don't know if there's parity. We don't know if they're disconnected. But I mean, I'll tell you right now, this looks mighty cheap. You mean put this up? Like my friend just asked me, he asked me right now, hey man, I got money to put in. I'm like, man, I'm not even joking. You don't need a DCA here. You can just go all in. Wait for all the weekends to get out. Buy eHEX. Maybe you wait 3, 6, 9 months. Hope parity comes. Okay. So there's just one opportunity because you're just going against the crowd. Don't do anything yet. Just chill out and wait. All right. You don't have to do anything drastic. It's very interesting to see what's going on. So here you can see the ratio is actually going nuts again. We have 1 to 63, 1 to 64. So effectively all it means is it goes pulse, right? So if you had like, let's say someone had like 1 million HEX, right? So you would have 57 million pulse value. That's how much it's moving around. People are trying to find what the fair value of the ratio is. This was 1 to 20 before. So it's crazy. People are smashing into HEX. And you're probably wondering why. And it's because it's probably coming from all the other poop coins on Ethereum. So people might be trading their P tokens, like probably people are trading pLINK, pShib, P version of anything. They're just smashing this like, hey, give me HEX because I'll be able to stake it, etc., etc. They're also playing around with these. Let me check the ratio to PulseX as well. Right, so it's 1 to 200. Yeah, it makes sense because all the ratios are insane or are in line. This is quite fair. I'll be honest. Nothing is out of whack here. HEX seems a bit strong, but it makes sense because eHEX is down and crushed. So what price are we going to be looking at? We have to wait 48 hours for the bridge to come up. Nothing we can do. It is nice to sit here and enjoy this pulse to PulseX ratio. As you can see right now, 1 to 3.96. You just want to invert it, get that real number. See, 1 to now it's 0.28. So we go back, I want to check the chart again. You'll be able to see where it is. So this came up to 0.33 and then, it peaked up. Now it's back to 0.8. So that's what the chart's looking like. All right. These short-term plays, you don't make too much money from. You can't do anything. Just chill out. The goal is 2025 plus. The ratios are in line. The testnet was true. Now it's all up to how much is Pulse going to gap up in terms of how much action are we going to get in the first week? How are we going to close the first month, where it's going to price out? That is still undecided. But for now, you hold on. Because look, at the end of the day, I want you to look at this, friends. Let's go back. Let's look at ETH BTC. I've got such a perfect example here for you, right? Please like, subscribe, bell button, or if you are currently breathing. So this is Ethereum dropped 89% against Bitcoin, okay? If PulseChain was launched back here in this time, if PulseChain was launched in 2022, end of 2021, this is what the PulseX to Pulse ratio would have done. It would have dropped 90% over time, most likely. Just like how Uni versus Ethereum dropped 90%, everything dropped against the Big Daddy. So you can actually see, right? I can actually bring you just another quick chart. We can actually see Uni ETH, because the Uni ETH is going to be our key. It's going to be our key to see how this might look like. It's not going to be perfect, but how it might look like for the Uni ETH, the real ratio, and how it's going to transpire. So this is what it looks like. This is a month. Let's go weekly, so you can see. So this might have been what PulseX to Pulse looked like, where it peaks somewhere and then it just goes down because the volume drops off, right? Because crypto seems to value DEXs based off their daily volume. That's one of the things you've known. So it's down 86%. But you can see this part, right? The damage is done. The big damage is done. So if you are bullish in the future and you can see all the other DEXs very cheap to the main chains, then what do you think is coming after this? So if that's coming, you don't want to own any PulseChain if you believe in this. You just actually want to own PulseX, right? That's effectively what it's saying. Because if the volume is going to pick up from here and the DEX, PulseX, is going to be a higher beta, higher return based off it's going to have thinner liquidity and it's just going to be more off the volume. The volume can spike, then it just makes sense that this would happen. No guarantees, right? But hey, you want to look for value? This is what happens. So if you had 10 grand, you have to throw it around, you would probably overweight more PulseX to Pulse. But anything can happen over the first week. So just let the bridge come out. Let the weak hands come out. Let people wake up and see what's going on and be able to evaluate more. So what I like seeing is the ratio seems to be still just staying around here. We like playing around just to see. Nothing out of whack. This is in line. This is 2 fingers crossed. I like this. I like seeing this. This is absolutely beautiful. This was about fair to me. It was about fair to see this. And hex as well, just to see. 166. You can see these numbers flunking around. So what do you do from now? Well, I made a PulseChain video before, a strategy video, and you can see it actually happening. So the weak hands, so we can write this down. Okay, we can go back. We can go back and we can see. What do the weak hands do? The weak hands, where is ETH BTC? Here we go. The weak hands have done what we thought they've done. So this is PulseX pulse ratio, right? The weak hands have sold PulseX into Pulse. Okay, so, and the weak hands have also dumped Hex on Ethereum. That's what they've done. So they've dumped Hex on Ethereum here. You've seen that. And they've sold their PulseX into Pulse. The trade might be to scoop up their naughty behavior. That might be the trade because you're going against the crowd. And you know the crowd, man, the crowd pays big slippage. They FOMO over each other. They fumble, etc., etc. So interesting to see what happens here. I mean, I want you to think about this. Just think about this for a second, right? I'm not saying to buy anything here, but if you had any money, because I got no money left put in. If you had any money left, just thinking on the sidelines, I want you to think about what the market sentiment would be if Hex returned, eHEX, Hex on Ethereum returned back to 5 cents. How bullish would everybody be? Imagine eHEX is 5 cents and pHEX is also 5 cents. Just think about the psychology of everybody in the ecosystem now, because this was the biggest FUD, wasn't it? All this time, everyone's like, no one's going to own Hex on Ethereum. Imagine it comes back. What are people going to think after that point? It's going to blow everybody's mind with how bullish they are. This is going to just spread out to the rest of the world when you see something like this. But we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if it's going to recover or not. You can't do anything now. Yeah? So just hold your horses. And look, see, I love watching this. As we're live, 1 to 75 now. So this is why it's confusing if you do it this way, baby dolls. As this number gets higher, that means Hex is getting stronger. That means Pulse is getting weaker. 1 to 82. So I'm guessing what people are doing now, it has to be coming from the other P tokens. People are grabbing all the liquidity from all the other coins and they're just going into what they know is safety, which is Hex, because they know it has a value and they're just pumping it up. So you can go check. You know what's interesting, what we can want to see is I'd like to see if we can see other coins. And what I did was I went to Etherscan, baby dolls. I went to Etherscan and I got ChainLink's contract address. I just went in and I copy pasted it in and I've added link here. So interesting, you can see 1 Hex, 0.20 link. I wonder how much is that going to be. So if we want to reverse it, I just want to see 1 link is 5.5 Hex. So now you can see how low everything is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assume pHEX and eHEX is parity. So what's the price of here? It's about 3 cents. So this is a great thing to look at, all right? So there you can see how low everything is, right? So if pHEX is 3 cents, 3 times 5.3 is 16 cents. So pLINK is only 16 cents. And on the real chain is $6.50. So, $6.50 divided by 0. Let's do like 16. So it's a 40x to parity. So another way to look at it is 1 divided by 40. So about 2.5%. So the market is basically right now with this pricing, immediately it's saying, well, it's about, your P tokens are about 2.5% of the value of what they are on mainnet Ethereum. Wouldn't that be juicy if they go another 10x higher? Then you have an extra 25% of your bags everywhere. Wow, that'd be big. This is fantastic news to see. So I know it's a lot of energy, baby dolls. This is fantastic to see. I'm still watching Hex live here. I'm going to let you guys, you're going to chill out for the next 2 days. Our goal is to make a staking ladder from here. We're going to see Hex. We're going to see the eHEX, pHEX, whether they hit parity, how the ratios settle. And we're going to wait for that bridge to come up in 48 hours. So tell mum and dad that you love them. Also tell me you love me. Like, subscribe, button, or I'll catch you soon.